Well, this is day 4 of the 37-day federal election campaign.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is shifting his efforts to Quebec today. He's expected to hold a news conference in a small town on the St. Lawrence River and a rally in Quebec City. Liberal leader Mark Carney will be in Ontario today. He's expected to tour facilities in Windsor and London and then hold a rally in Kitchener. And DP leader Jagmeet Singh was in Hamilton last night and will stay in Steeltown before heading off to London. The Greens will be campaigning in the riding of Outremont in Montreal.
And joining us now for our daily analysis of the federal election race is CTV News political commentator Scott Reid. Scott, really appreciate these morning updates with you here. So let's start sort of where the leaders are today and what this says. We've got now, it's interesting, Carney and Poilievre kind of crisscrossing, Poilievre moving east, Carney coming into Ontario now.
So there's an old rule in politics, which is don't listen to what they say, watch where they go. And what's interesting in these very early days here is we're seeing a slight contrast in approach here in this campaign. So for Carney's first visit to Ontario, he doesn't come to Toronto where his numbers are strong. He doesn't even come to the GTA, the 905, where his numbers are promising. He goes to where he doesn't hold ridings. He goes to Windsor and southwestern Ontario. He goes to London, Kitchener, big rally in Kitchener tonight. That's interesting. That tells you that the campaign thinks it's on offense, that it's looking to pick up seats, that it wants to grow its parliamentary hold. So that's interesting. Then you take a look at what Poilievre is doing going into Quebec. He's going to end his day today in Quebec City. That sort of Quebec City region is where the Conservatives generally hold, their 10, 11 ridings, or looking to hang on to those at least. And he's going to begin in Montmagny, which is also an area where the Conservatives have it. It's kind of the bleu area, they call it. And so he's competing for seats he holds already. Slight contrast, don't want to overanalyze, but in these early days, Liberals are looking to make pickups. Conservatives are looking to hold on to what they have. That might be echoed in some of these polls you see, which show that the Liberals have opened up a lead on Pierre Poilievre.
Yeah, and speaking of Pierre Poilievre, Scott, CTV News has learned that there was foreign interference in 2022 during the selection of the Conservative leader. How is this going to affect this race? Do you see this playing out in any way?
So again, in a short campaign, when you got 37 days, one of the things that campaigns think about always is, do I control the day or do events control me and the day? And yesterday, the Globe and CTV break this story, talking about the story about foreign interference in the past Conservative leadership. And let's be crystal clear. There is no suggestion that Pierre Poilievre did anything other than legitimately win his leadership. There's no hint of impropriety about it. And there's no suggestion that he was even conscious of efforts on the part of India to interfere. But it provoked a series of questions to him and to Prime Minister Carney yesterday on the campaign trail. Today, the Globe has got another story saying that the candidate who was disqualified in Nepean, the very riding in which Mark Carney is running, was disqualified because he had an undisclosed trip to India. Other suggestions, new suggestions again, of efforts on the part of the Modi government in India trying to interfere in our electoral process. So we are certain that we're going to get another day with a round of questions about foreign interference. And one of the challenges for Carney is that it will be literally in his backyard, talking about why aren't you sharing this information publicly? Why do we have to learn about it in the media? So that's going to be the tough question for Carney. But Pierre Poilievre is going to have to go back to this issue of foreign interference. Why won't he get a security clearance? What are his reasons? The reasons he offered yesterday, which he's repeated on many occasions, have been widely debunked. He wasn't sufficiently secure when he was a cabinet minister. This is a different level of security clearance. If he wants to be prime minister, why doesn't he get a security clearance so he can be sworn in on sensitive intelligence? So that issue is probably going to dominate much of the day again today, taking both candidates off their core message.
Yeah, and like you've highlighted, Scott, short campaign here. Used to run comms for Paul Martin in his day here. How does that affect a campaign when really the message you're going to be trying to put out today is really going to be overshadowed by the time the 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock news comes on later tonight? Because those lead stories are not going to be focusing on their policies.
So at some point over the course of the day, or sometimes maybe at the beginning of the day as they're sitting on their campaign plans right now, you have to make a decision. Do I fight this frame? And do I think that I can muscle the message into being what I want it to be? Or is it inevitable that this issue is going to overtake the day's media and the day's discussion? And therefore, I have to figure out how I want to position myself within that context. I think we're in the latter. I think that foreign interference is going to get a lot of oxygen, a lot of discussion today. And if you're the Liberals, you probably think on balance that it plays plays to your favor, because the more people are talking about foreign interference, the more they're thinking about the integrity of our borders, our sensitivity to outside actors, and you've got those tariffs and Trump coming at us next week. So you probably think on balance this plays to your strength if you're the Liberals, and if you're the Conservatives, you want to try and put pressure on the Liberals, but you probably wish you could get back to bread and butter economics, cost of living. That's where they think they're going to pick up votes.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see what the day holds on day 4 of the federal election campaign. CTV's political commentator, Scott Reid. Always appreciate it. Thanks, Scott.
See you tomorrow.
Have a great day, guys.
You
Thanks
too.
for the snow, Bill.